In today's video, I'm going to be giving you some tips to eating out on a gluten-free diet. Now, if you have celiac disease or you have a gluten intolerance, then you know how tricky it can be dining out. So stay watching to the end, and hopefully we can make the whole dining out experience a bit more enjoyable for you. Hi, I'm Mike Hines from JustNoGluten.com. Now, if you like the video, you like the content, want to give it a like or subscribe to my channel, just hit the subscribe button bottom of the screen. Right, let's get straight into the content. We're not here to sugarcoat anything, so unfortunately we must inform you that dining out when you cannot consume gluten is certainly going to be tricky. While it is going to be difficult, it is certainly not impossible. To help make life a little bit easier for you, in this video we're going to share a series of tips based around gluten-free dining out. First little tip, eat earlier or later than usual. Restaurants are generally busy at certain times of the day, and indeed on certain days of the week, and that can be challenging if you cannot consume gluten. When restaurant staff are busy and rushing around, they are far more likely to make mistakes and forget about any special requests you may have made. If, for example, you need to request that your fries be cooked in oil that has not been cross-contaminated, you can clearly and concisely tell the waiting staff, who can then inform the kitchen. Problem is, when things get busy, this request could potentially be overlooked. You can always find out when the busiest times are and maybe arrive an hour earlier or an hour later just to avoid the rush. Tip number 2, do read the menu. As we are now living in the age of the internet, we can now browse a menu in the comfort of our own homes. Before you leave the comfort of your own home, you can look at the menu of the restaurant in question and find out what they offer that would be suitable for a gluten-free diet, and see if they have any specialty gluten-free options. More and more restaurants now cater for gluten-free diets, so you can now even order battered food made from gluten-free flour that has been fried in gluten-free oil. Do choose carefully when deciding on a restaurant. It may be wise to choose a restaurant with plenty of gluten-free options. This not only means you can have more variety and more to choose from, but it also means that the staff will likely be qualified and experienced to deal with gluten-free diets and requests. This again minimizes the risk of mistakes happening or cross-contamination. If it's at all possible, speak to the chef or the manager of the restaurant and be clear on exactly what you need. A point to remember, restaurants often share preparation services, knives, cutlery, fryers, grills, pans and so on. That is why cross-contamination is so important. Even something as basic as the chef washing their hands before they prepare your meal will make a massive difference. If a chef is preparing fish and chips, for example, they won't wash their hands after each individual fish they prepare. They will wash their hands once the fish has been floured and dipped into the batter. And this is where your problems arise. If they were then to prepare your gluten-free version, even though there will only be small traces of gluten, this would still be enough to trigger a reaction. So washing their hands would make all the difference. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Finally, before you tuck into your meal, be sure to speak to the waiter or the waitress and ask them to confirm your meal is gluten-free. If there's a salad dressing or a sauce, even on the side, that you don't recognize, again, ask your waiter or your waitress. If they are unsure, they'll ask the chef, who will then confirm that it is or is not gluten-free. Final note, thank them generously. Now, we're not going to tell you when to tip or how much it is worth noting though that kitchen environments and restaurants can be stressful places to work at the best of times. As a way of thanking the kitchen staff and the waiters and waitresses for going the extra mile for you, you may want to do the same for them to show them your appreciation. If you plan on eating there again, they will probably remember and look after you, which is what you want. Well, hopefully these tips come in handy when you have to dine out. Any little thing you do to continue living gluten-free will greatly improve your results and your health. There are simple ways to make your life easier. Being a celiac disease sufferer or a gluten intolerance sufferer means that you simply never can take anything for granted. When your health and your quality of life depend on the types of food you eat, you must always be alert. When you do your own cooking at home, you know exactly what goes into your food. Eating out is a different matter. You are not present when the food is being prepared. Many reputable restaurants offer a separate gluten-free restaurant menu with all the dishes clearly listed. Now, many restaurants and eateries may not have a separate gluten-free menu available, but they will have gluten-free dishes clearly marked with GF next to it. When you have celiac disease or a gluten intolerance, the responsibility is yours in the end. When you're offered a gluten-free menu, it is your right to discuss each dish and its preparation with the manager. Now, not everyone is going to understand what it means to have celiac disease or a gluten intolerance. That is why you should always ask questions and get satisfactory answers. Even when you're eating from a gluten-free restaurant menu, there can still be a huge problem with cross-contamination. This can happen quite easily in a restaurant, as the food is prepared and handled by people who do not all know all the final details of having to eat gluten-free. So, be responsible, eat well and stay healthy. Here are 2 rather excellent tips for dining out. First one, print out a gluten-free restaurant menu and take it with you when you dine out. This will help ease communication problems when discussing dishes on offer. The other idea, and this could be invaluable for those of you who travel a lot, is to get a set of dining cards. These small cards explain in all the applicable languages that you need gluten-free food, what ingredients you must avoid, and the reason why. For lots of people, it was just, now it's not a dream anymore. You can now find gluten-free pizza restaurants. If the entire restaurant is not gluten-free, the pizzerias now offer a separate gluten-free restaurant menu that gives celiac sufferers the chance to share a night out with their friends. Just a little bit of quick research on the internet will provide you with all the best places to eat. And on a final note, just remember, Google is your friend. I do hope you enjoyed today's video and you found it helpful. If so, why not give it a like or subscribe to my channel. Just hit the subscribe button bottom of the screen. Again, thank you for watching and I shall see you in my next video. Bye bye for now.